Manitou ha deciso, no, lui
Recording is
è l'ora
on.
di pranzo, capito? Quindi non passare da uno e non passare all'altro. Siano questi due rischi. È bello essere a metà, no? Conservare le due cose.
Sì, ma alla fine, sempre che diciamo tutte le giornate, quando posso riconsiderare l'elemento che fa, che il concetto dalla base, di dire, e qual è anche la tua critica della comanda?
La comanda ormai
sì, è di dire il punto di cominciare un fatto e di dire perché io fa e qual è l'interesse del fatto.
Certo.
Per te, per la persona,
ma sicuramente questa è una cosa che non si sviluppa molto, per esempio nelle scuole, il fatto della critica, dell'analisi dei nostri clienti, di quello che vengono chieste, cosa viene fatta. Questo è sicuramente un aspetto. Ma io vorrei introdurre poi un altro aspetto che sia fondamentale, nella non conoscenza e la gioia della non conoscenza. Sei bannata a vita.
Mi autobanno.
Ciao, arrivederci. No, della gioia della non conoscenza. Questo credo che sia un punto molto interessante.
Di essere della situazione che deve apprendere.
Esatto.
Sì.
Quella è una gioia, non è una cosa obbligata. Il piacere della non conoscenza, la gioia, la felicità di essere... mi ricordo i miei primi viaggi, tanti anni fa, andai in India e mi resi conto che tutto quello che sapevo non valeva nulla, che tutte le cose certe che io avevo nella vita non erano assolutamente così. E ho detto, invece di prendere invece di andare su Marte, sono andato in India. Però questo allo stesso tempo mi ha aiutato, perché io ero felicissimo, sai, è come dire, ricominciamo, vediamo cosa è importante qua. No, come quando sei in Africa, cosa è importante? Quante mucche hai? 4. Ah no, non sei importante, no? Cioè, scopri tutto dei sistemi di valori, di cose che sono completamente diverse. E poi il fatto adesso dico una cosa che poi vi arrabbierete sicuramente, che facendo il mestiere di designer io ho la sensazione a volte di avere il ruolo del buffone di corte nel Medioevo. Cioè il buffone, il Joker, no? Il buffone di corte nel Medioevo era l'unico che poteva dire le cose vere. Aveva una funzione, era l'unico che poteva prendere in giro il re, poteva dirgli le cose che non funzionavano e serviva come una intermediazione un po' simpatica fra la realtà e quello che è la cosa. Allora, fatta le dovute differenze, noi abbiamo un pochino questo, perché noi abbiamo...
È interessante perché io dice sempre che siamo le fou du roi. Il fou du roi n'est pas le bouffon, è un po' differente i due.
Io non so nemmeno cosa sia il fou du roi.
Il fou du roi è il crazy dal king. The crazy man of the king. Is a little bit of buffon.
Sì, ho capito.
È similare, ma un po'.
In Italia è buffone.
Buffone è più interessante, sì.
Esatto, buffone di corte. E mi ricordo che quando ho lavorato in Siria avevo fatto una maglietta durante la guerra che diceva "Don't shoot me, I'm a designer". No. Non mi sparate, sono un designer. E in tutti i posti di blocco mi hanno fermato, non importa quale milizia mi ha fermato, da Hezbollah ai bambini soldati in Mozambico, mi dicono: lei cosa fa? Dove va? Cosa fa? Designer. E ti guardano così, va bene, no? Nel senso che sei qualcosa di inoffensivo, qualcosa che non può fare niente a nessuno, no? Sempre è un passepartout. Dice, cosa fai? Designer? Designer? Sì, disegno mobili, vestiti. Ah, fai vestiti? Ok, va. È un passepartout incredibile. Perché ti dicono veramente perché nessuno capisce il tuo mestiere, allora ti dicono, più o meno il vestito.
Ma ha un po' di relazione che con questo che dice io parlo dalla naività intelligente. No?
Ah, certo.
Questo momento quando entra da una nuova situazione, questo piacere di non sapere e che posso domandare con l'esperienza davanti, domanda, fa questione, e questa questione si tuce dal sistema, sono questioni molto impertinenti, ma sì, perché non c'è dal sistema posso domandare cose che sono cose molto disturbate dal sistema.
Esatto. Sì. Ti do un esempio perfetto di questo. Alcuni anni fa ho dovuto lavorare...
C'è il mio illustratore.
Ora faccio l'illustrazione così. Ho dovuto fare un lavoro in un'oasi vicino al Cairo, che si chiama il Fayum, dove esisteva, c'era stato un grande motto di fondamentalismo islamico radicale, e quindi era molto controllata perché il governo non voleva i fondamentalisti. Quindi loro mi hanno detto fai molta attenzione, niente croci, non creare attriti, queste cose. Allora c'è un posto che si chiama Tunis, che è il paesino, che sono specializzati in ceramica. E noi abbiamo lavorato con la ceramica e voi sapete che l'arte islamica è relegato un po' alla calligrafia e hanno questi concetti calligrafici meravigliosi e lavoriamo con loro e sfortunatamente questa calligrafia che dovevamo usare era un rettangolo e il piatto era circolare, quindi un pezzettino bisognava tagliarlo perché era impossibile che la calligrafia andasse. E a quel punto io stavo contravvenendo tutte le regole dell'Islam in teoria, perché tutti mi hanno detto quelle sono le parole del profeta, le parole del profeta non si possono tagliare. Oddio, ho detto, adesso che dobbiamo fare? Ma siete sicuri? Sì, non si può. Allora, a furia di che io sono un po' testardo e non sapendo e non avendo paura delle cose, io sono salito di gerarchia in tutta la, diciamo, la gerarchia islamica, fino ad andare a parlare con il Gran Mufti del Cairo, e gli ho spiegato la situazione, una persona deliziosa, che mi ha detto, ma certo che si può. Chi l'ha detto? No, me l'ha detto, no, non sanno niente, non ti preoccupare perché queste sono parole, le parole non hanno nessun valore, si possono tagliare, fare questo. Il valore, le parole sono il simbolo, non la lettera si è tagliata un po'. E quindi sono ritornato con un documento stampato meraviglioso che non ho mai capito cosa ci fosse scritto, e con quello mi hanno lasciato fare e abbiamo fatto tutto e poi nessuno ha più detto niente. Però vedi, la non sapere a volte funziona, perché se avessi saputo mi sarei un po' preoccupato a usare queste cose.
Juste parle fort.
J'ai pas tout compris. J'ai une histoire aussi sur la réciprocité de cette connaissance, non-connaissance. Ça me faisait penser la première fois où je suis allé en Chine pour faire une école à Shanghai. J'ai découvert, et donc j'étais dans cette situation de ce qui était déjà là. Pour moi, c'était, j'aime bien l'expression de la joie, de la non-connaissance. Pour moi, c'était une découverte puisque j'étais face à ma non-connaissance de l'architecture chinoise, etc. Et ce qui me plaît beaucoup, c'est la brique noire, c'est de la clé, ceci est loin, et je reviens, et donc déjà avec l'européen, l'écologie, tout ça, je dis il faut travailler avec le déjà là, et donc on va dessiner le projet, le collège, avec de la brique noire, travailler avec la bonne feng shui, tout ça. Et donc on revient, alors tout ça c'est très rapide comme en Chine, un mois ou deux après, je reviens pour présenter le projet avec mon architecte chinois, et je présente, très content de moi, ce collège en brique noire. Et là, l'assemblée a toujours 20 personnes, je vois la consternation. Parce qu'en fait, eux, c'était devenu, pour eux, pour d'autres raisons, aussi de la non-connaissance. Parce que,
ça, c'est très
parce
important.
que le collège en brique noire, c'était le collège de Confucius, enfin, c'était les collèges de Confucius, et comme ils disent en Chine, on n'en voulait plus. Donc en fait, on était passé par un architecte européen, lui-même s'est émerveillé de quelque chose qu'il ne connaissait pas, qui remet en jeu parce qu'aujourd'hui, il vaut mieux travailler avec ça qu'avec de l'aluminium et du verre, comme ils font. Sauf que pour eux, ils se retrouvent en face de quelque chose qu'ils ne veulent plus connaître. Enfin, maintenant, ça a changé, c'était en 2002. Mais c'est vrai que ça, c'est aussi des choses.
Questo credo, capisci?
Cioè,
Capisci il francese?
assolutamente.
Non,
je comprends bien.
On m'a dit, I was told you speak French.
Non, je peux parler français. C'est lui qui c'est un peu jalouse, alors...
No, but I think it's very, very important. And what we often see is that the local designers are these persons who try to make the copy of what happened of the place, in our place, and we have to recognize in this way to say we make it a new project.
But
and
this
all
is the story of the colony, because all the things coming from Europe or from the colonizer was better than the local one. So it's clearly, if you are white, you know better than me.
It's a copy of identity.
No, it's a disintegration because you think you don't want a model, but you have to accept that model, and then you're looking for the judgment from a model. It's like this. I mean, living in Berlin, all this topic of post-colonialism is always so intense. So it's also like consequences. And it makes fun to us. It's like if I see Macau and I spent 5 years in Venice, and it's like, what did they do? It's like, it's just like a copy of scratch. But then why? I mean, this is like, we should question why they do that instead of just
No, but what is interesting in situation we had also together is the Occidental man can make a work of recognition of their origin culture, in contrary of the. I give every time the project of Renzo Piano in New Caledonia, who is for me one of the best he do. He really work on this culture and make something, and this gives the possibility for this culture to say we are able to have this affirmation of our culture, and often I think you do a part of
that's
this.
happened already with us. I think the best option of to be a designer is when you become traditional, when you become part of the story, and that's happened in Colombia, my friend. We were working in '92 together in a crazy situation, and really in a wild project, and we did some ceramics, and because the ceramic town was close to the river, we said, okay, let's start doing something with fish. Let's take elements from the fish to put on the river. Okay. 25 years, 30 years after, 2 years ago, I went to the traditional shop of Artesanía de Colombia, where all the best traditional pieces are there. I arrived there, and there was our ceramic. And I was very happy, and I say, wow, that's great. Who do that? Who do that? No, this is tradition. And this is my best award, my best design award, became traditional. This means that our work was completely digested and accepted, and no, Falsari, no. Falsari, there is a long story of
what I also remember this same travel is this work we do in this Indian community who after 1 week we find out that all this we go at this place, or the persons bring us at this place because they make this colored weaving. And after 1 week, we find out that this was designers from the 20s, from 40 years before, who bring this color in her system, and originally they don't do with color. So it's also this kind of evolution.
Or normally there is some priest or some Christian monk that come and teach them to do something, and that is the tradition. That is the stupid thing to say that what is traditional or original. There is no originality in this. But anyway, returning to non-sapere, not knowing, I think is a very good starting point, in my point of view,
of design.
Because, for example, I do a lot of things, but sometimes I was working in tourism, and the dilemma of the tourist today is what we will do, how we will do this place, how we will manage this place, because the place is not. That's happening, for example, in Madagascar. In Madagascar, the people who come to Madagascar believe that they arrive to the Madagascar cartoons. And there is no much distant place like this. Non esiste un posto più lontano dai disegni animati di Madagascar. E però the discussion was how we became closer to this imaginary. Because the people arrive and say, hey, there is no anyone dancing on the street, no? Quindi il turista arriva e vuole trovare quello che lui crede ci sia. Ossia, per dirvi l'Egitto, allora l'Egitto, in inglese o inglese?
Okay. Vai italiano.
Okay, let's talk about Egypt. Egypt have, I don't know, 20% of the ruins of the world. There is something beautiful to see, pyramids, many, many, many things. So in the old good times, many tourists come to Egypt, and they visit the pyramids, okay, typical stuff. But I asked the Minister of Tourism, what is the best, the most view attraction or place in Egypt? Say, first one, the Giza pyramid. Okay. Second one, a fake. They create a pharaoh village close to Cairo, where all the people dress like in the past, and they make like this, and make once or three times a day, they make the ceremony of Ra, and all that. But the second attraction must visit in Egypt. And you cannot believe that was more visited than Karnak, Luxor, real attractions, no? No, everybody went to see a pharaonic village. So
I see a very nice poster in one of the most beautiful village in Czechia, and they write research origin person who will live in this country because it is empty of reality, and this gap in between the dream of we go because it's original, but at all is not original, and nobody will live in it, I think it's a very interesting point of representation. Also, this this element we create, and we speak a little bit in Florence about this. We every time try to say there are part who is not touristic, and when we valorize it, this come to be touristic
sure.
because the tourists were charged to go in places. Yeah. So it's an element without end.
Dovevamo convincere gli studenti che non dovevano far vedere dei pezzi nascosti, perché noi facevamo un seminario sulla Firenze non rappresentata e loro all'inizio avevano pensato che fosse la Firenze che le persone non conoscono e quindi andavano a cercare i posti,
gli angoli
nascosti, e in questo modo è semplicemente un modo per ampliare l'offerta turistica, no? Quindi invece l'idea era di dare visibilità a quello che non è visibile, quindi poi l'hanno capito, hanno lavorato in questa direzione, ma all'inizio quando dici Firenze nascosta, la prima ipotesi è quella di andare a cercare gli angolini che i turisti non conoscono.
Io credo che dobbiamo in 5 minuti così finire. Sì.
I have a question.
Yes, in English.
Anche in italiano?
Come ti pare? Come ti pare?
You can say it in German, I traduce.
In German.
Keine Deutsch.
Let's make it even more difficult. Yeah. So no, I was just, I was wondering, like talking about reciprocity, and also, I don't know, I have the feeling that this kind of not knowledge or non conoscenza, it's kind of a privilege. I mean, it's a condition where we are as designers, so graphic design, whatever. But we got some tools to like identify this emptiness or this void that we find in front of us, and to like resiliently like subvert this condition of like block and like into action, right? So like, what about like all these people that doesn't have this kind of access, this kind of tools? And so like my question is, like doing a PhD in education design, like about this role of like education and design, I'm wondering, how do you like involve all your experience and there's no knowledge in your teaching? Because I really, just like I really have the feeling that like those like in Italy is like in Italiano is differenza tra apprendimento e insegnamento, because we are all talking about like
learning and teaching.
Learning, but what about teaching? So this is like, I mean, it's not probably creative. Like,
No,
because I get upset, like,
no, this is the most difficult part to teach.
Exactly. I have
because
feeling, yeah.
what we need to be very clear is behind this attitude is a price. You need to have you need to agree with this attitude. Not everybody agree with this attitude. So when I teach, I tell the story. I try to mobilize people, and I try to push them to their from their comfort zone to they know it. And this is an exercise that works very well, because from one moment to another, say, hey, I'm a graphic designer now. I'm taking apples in the countryside. Why I'm here? No, just do it, and after I will explain to you. No, so this kind of methodology works very well, but clearly it's not easy, because this is a decision. This is an attitude. No, if you arrive to a problem with many people want to arrive with absolutely 100% answers before they start working. But this is a personality problem. So what I try is to first to explain my story, explain how I arrived to do, and second, I try to reproduce in them this series of experience. Clearly, some get in love, some others don't like.
But
j'ai bien aimé donc, ce que vous avez dit tout à l'heure, je change de langue.
Ok, on va.
J'ai bien aimé ce que vous avez dit tout à l'heure, la joie d'une connaissance nouvelle, comme quelque chose qui est une aventure qui commence.
Exactement.
Et je trouve qu'en termes pédagogiques, enseigner que changer de contexte, c'est la joie d'une aventure nouvelle, c'est assez extraordinaire plutôt que d'arriver avec des choses déjà, avec une commande déjà dessinée.
C'est
compréhensible.
Oui,
absolument.
Absolument. Ouais. Oh, what imports me also is the contrary about what Giulio did. How can we invite persons from other part of the world to inspect our way to be? And how can we hear it better? How can we listen? So François Julien explains this very good from how he learned from China to better understand the French culture or the Occidental culture. I make one or two experiences very old with Thierry Samba, who we asked Thierry Samba to make the portrait of Marseille, and this was fantastic. So how can we stress this situation and say we ask persons to reconsider this element? And another situation I like to I make a little bit Giulio methodology of examples. Is we make one work very interesting about the reception of places, and it was a Polish student of Eva, and she looked at the place who she lived in Paris, and was very negative. All the Polish say, oh, it's far west, and all this negative element you can have from this border quarter. And then she speaks Portuguese, and she looked at the website of the Brazilians, and all the Brazilians say it's so hot place, and she compares. She makes an installation. She compares these two perceptions of the same element, and I think this is very interesting for us to learn this point of perception, this point of how communities can understand totally different the same situation. I hope it's clear.
Yeah.
No, it's very unclear, but this is.
It's really clear.
So a good point of start. So
Okay.
just I think all the Milanese and make a little bit tam for tomorrow. Because it will be very nice if we are a little bit more people to work, and tomorrow all together we'll really try to make schemas, to make a visualization of what we say today. We will go on.
Because we're also outside the city, I was wondering, or we're going to stay here.
This is surprise. Tomorrow morning
Okay.
we'll know.
Tomorrow we stay in Institut Français. I cannot leave immediately, perhaps a little bit later.
Okay, no, because I was wondering. Like,
No, just qui di fronte c'è un posto fantastico da analizzare. Il Cenacolo Vinciano è proprio.
And this exchange will be also in distance, so we will also be more in dialogue with you. And because the night is long, we see us tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, so we have many time. I think will be interesting to start with a little research about how can we represent something we don't know, or how can we represent the questioning, how visually. Tomorrow we work as graphic designers or as as representer, can be film or other things, but as visual, in this way of visual representation. Yeah, it can be architecture, it can be urbanist, it can be, you can also make little draws about objects.
Little draw about objects. Dal punto di vista del grafico che parla con design di prodotto. Little draws about objects.
So, no, this idea to have a little iconography about expression of things who are not metrized. I explained this morning the contra position we will have is this panels of the school who explain this is the core and the core is like this, and so this affirmative element of knowledge, to say I explain you what I know, and this is like this. So this methodology of drawing we know very good. So it's the base of the structure of the school. You explain that in the colonies that you are the son of Gaulois, and so all this element is based on very sapere who are transmitted and without question. What interests me really is to say, how can we represent element and bring in the pictures this questioning or this openness or this relativity or this I represent something I don't know. So we have surely in history we have many elements, but I will be interested to look a little bit in our yet society, how can be elements of this representation. I think in the art we find any, in design not so much. Yeah. We will have computers, we will have papers, we will have modes of representation.
Okay. Like how we represent something we don't know, or how it is represented by like the design.
In this way, this night, I think it's iconography can be very large. You mean?
Like how I do represent something I don't know.
Yeah,
you can bring it to the community.
You can make a little narration. You start off you, and then you go my community, and yeah. But how also, because you work on pedagogy, how in the school we explain what we don't know. It's very interesting. I think we cut all this element from the pedagogy.
Because it's the point of view of the pedagogy, which is different. And the one of the community education, for example. So pedagogy as a way to work with a process which is not the same as the one of communication, for example.
La cosa importante è di cominciare a provare a capire come possiamo lavorare su questa dimensione, perché non è che in queste 2 settimane, in questi giorni dobbiamo avere un risultato, abbiamo definito il posto e così è.
Abbiamo tempo.
L'idea è proprio di capire, perché io personalmente sono abbastanza spaventata da questa cosa, perché
quel non knowing, vedi?
Cioè, voglio dire, no, quindi ammetto il mio non sapere. Però l'idea è di cominciare a capire anche dal punto di vista di metodo, no? Di cosa, perché poi dovremo provare a lavorare davvero con gli studenti per riuscire ad avere una rappresentazione. Quindi l'idea è di provare a confrontarci con le problematiche.
Jean-Pierre say one point which is very important. You say to in the process, I never present one idea, I present 2 or 3 ideas. That's I don't say it's this, but it's one example of this.
So my aim is not to convince that we have to choose this, but it's to open the discussion and the reflection on things that will appear and that I won't know for now.
No.
The difference between if I can say a little things about the is from architecture, urbanism, or graphic design, is that when we propose three ideas for a logo, for a poster, for something, our reference say, oh yes, one piece of this, one piece of that, and one piece of them, and you put together with. No? So sometimes there is the difficulty to. It is not.
But this could be also.
Yeah, sometimes it's good, but sometimes there is in graphic. Everyone thinks that it's something that you can do if you want to do. No, you don't do because you have no time, but it sounds simple. To do something.
I understand that in my way of work, it's to propose free.
No, me too.
For example, free proposal on what I have understood of what was asked to me, or what I have understood of the context. This is what I could, what I believe now, and it could be this or this and this, and we will discuss, and then after we will go further.
In fact, me too. I instead to propose the final one, I try to discuss on the idea
process.
of the process. No, we can do this line, or maybe this, or maybe that, and we try to understand what is the best.
Why you choices?
But it is difficult when you arrive on the project. Maybe it's different for the architect because it's more complex. But in the graphic design, there are always this idea that is something
everybody can do.
Cheap. Yeah. Everyone can do. So they have some, because they have no time. So they understand.
No, it's also the culture of publicity.
Yeah.
To say, I give you everything and you can choose.
Yeah.
So it's I don't have a position.
Yeah.
And the point which is interesting is how can I say I have a position, but there are problematic with complex, with different possibilities. I think so. We have also to reflect about our way to say we go to the goal, and
no, because also our reference confused publicity with communication.
Yeah.
So
but we also I think. I make a little bit an autocritic because I every time say I never give two solutions because this is a compromise. So we have to reflect about this. I think it's interesting.
In publicity, you only try to satisfy your clients, no? So it is not important for you is one or the other.
But
it's important that they give you money. And our idea is that there is our is a position, not only.
Anyway, you need to satisfy your client.
I'm not.
But
a
little bit.
But you can bring the client with you.
No, I'm at full agree. Normally, I do in this case 3 noise too much. 2 ideas. One is like the guy wants, and the second one is like I want.
It's your choice. I can understand that.
But normally the discussion is one is, let's say, the answer of a brief, and the second one is what I think we need to go, and this is the reason that they say. But this is not of the brief. We don't ask you to do that. But 90% of the times, what my out of the brief alternative is the choose plan.
Yeah, but it's not only our idea. It is also at the beginning of this discipline. There is.
But I think we have to confront this point of, I think, the lonely creator with
there is no
the discussion we had before.
I'm not a conceiver. I'm, I would say in French, maître d'ouvrage. I try to
to make many people go in a certain way, change somewhere, to make many people reflect together to go further, and at a time conceivers will come and make also at this time several proposals. At the time I am.
I think it's a hard point for us, but it's a very interesting point. Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, it would be very useful to reflect on language and the use of words, because I mean, Scuola del non sapere is a epistemological issue. Maybe we don't want that it is. So maybe
Scuola non sapere is no sense. È non senso.
E io penso che ciascuno darà il suo contributo.
Certo.
E io penso dalle sensazioni che ho sviluppato oggi, che forse il mio contributo personale potrebbe essere anche su